nice to meet everybody. I've been in the beauty industry for over 25 years. I am a recovering addict for over 30 years, and I'm grateful for that. Most people say you do not look like what you've been through. Well, all of it was a choice. It was a choice. I always wanted to see what the other side of the world was like because I was so sheltered from it. So I wanted to see what was out there, and it almost destroyed me. I do know that God had his hands on me from the very beginning. You know, it took me a long time to realize that we are chosen. We are given grace. We are given wisdom. It's just when it kicks in and when we decide to use it, right? So for years, I didn't understand a lot of things about myself. I thought I was an ugly duckling. I thought that I was supposed to be a boy. I thought that I wasn't loved or cared for, even though my dad raised me. You see, I have 3 mothers. Not 1, not 2, but 3. I have a birth mother, I have a adopted mother, and I have a stepmother. I am a living testimony of a person that was created from an adulterous affair. And for years, I was betrayed and lied to about who I was, who my family really was, and where I was supposed to be. So the rejection and the lack of understanding, if you follow along with me, for 13 years, that's from the age of newborn to 13, I thought I was somebody else. And you wake up one morning and you realize you're not that person. That there's a whole new everything that you had no idea was there. And so you adjust, or you think you adjust and you're 13. You go to the people you trusted, your parents, your grandmother, whom I adore to this day, and she's no longer here with me. That was my BFF. She was the one that I knew out of everyone that would give me the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And she did, and she explained it to me. I was so angry, not with her, but with my dad. The one who, back in the 60s, was a married man. He had an adulterous affair, and I was the product of that affair. But he took me from my mother. He adopted me. Back in the 60s, men didn't do those things. You know, he could have gone on about his business. I was a girl child. He took me from my mother, and he did his best to give me his best. I could have stayed in that depression, deceit. Now, don't get it twisted. I didn't speak to him for almost a year. Okay? I stayed with my grandmother. I continued on with my life, but I wanted to get to know my other family. I wanted to get to know who they were. And I'm going to be honest with you. I should have, you know how they say, read things as they were? I should have left things as they were. I was too young at the time. I was not prepared at the time. I was not given the tools at the time to give me the, I'm going to say, the arsenal that I needed to be prepared. They're a wonderful group of people now, okay? I had 4 other sisters, and I had 3 other brothers. Okay, so I was number 8. It was 5 before me, then me, and then 2 after me. And I was the only one that my mother did not keep. It took a lot out of me to understand what was going on. So I drank and drugged to those feelings. Those feelings were real. They weren't imagined. You know, they were real, the rejection. That took me further down the hole of low self-esteem. Remind you, I already said I felt like I was an ugly duckling. I wore glasses, had patches over my left eye. It was just a mess. But all of these things were for the development of who I am today. And I'm grateful for it today. It took me a while to really understand why me, why me. So I had a decision to make. At a young age, I was about 26. I got pregnant with my first daughter. I never wanted children, never. God saw fit that you're gonna have kids slow you down. And she saved my life. My second daughter brought me into womanhood. I always have told them that. The first one saved my life. The second one brought me into womanhood. When I had my first daughter, I was still induced to the lifestyle. You know, it wasn't so much the drugs, it was the lifestyle, the fast living, the go, 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 go. The non-having to deal with your issues lifestyle. Because there was always something to do, always somewhere to be. So I didn't have to deal with me. And a lot of those traumas that I know today, that's what they were, developed me into being the great person that I am today. And I can say that about myself today. And that is a great feeling. So as time went on, I was a very good imposter. I was an excellent imposter. I would dress the part, walk the part, talk the talk, do it all. But I was lying to myself and to everybody else about who I was, about the devastation I felt, about the betrayal that I felt. One thing I did learn when I was in treatment, I was forced to go to treatment. I was given no choice, or my dad was going to take my daughter from me. I learned so much in those 30 days about who I was during those times and the choices that I could make to make me become me and find that person that God created inside of me. It was amazing. It was amazing. And I still, to this day, remember sitting in that room, and the counselor said it was 60 people in that room. This place was called Mountain Manor. It was in Emmitsburg, Maryland. When I first got there, I was like, is this the Bates Motel? That's what it looked like. And I remember the counselor sitting in there and said, how many of you think that you're going to stay clean and sober? It was just 2 of us that did not raise our hands. Everybody else jumped up. Oh, I know I'm going to stay clean and sober. This me. I was like, I cannot wait to get out of here. I cannot wait to get out of here. So that I can go back to that lifestyle that was determined to kill me. But during those 30 days, during that time of rebellion, during that time of trauma, I learned so much about me and choices that I can make. So, as time has grown, all right, and I have developed and keep developing and being blessed, I've come up with some mantras. I have jars, and I